and monthly retirement payroll, $225,000, leaving an ending balance of $298,060. I'll just move into mine and then we'll vote on them separate after that. So you can see those same figures are on my report as far as the bank balances. We had about $71,000 of dividends from investments, some rebalancing, reducing equities, and increasing fixed income. And then, of course, the thing we always focus on, the market value. It was up another 237,000 last month, so the balance is 52,879,000. So, unless anybody has any questions on either, that's all I have.
Okay, we will take a vote on this report as a combined report. Do I have a motion to approve the monthly financial report?
Yeah, I'll move we approve the treasurer and the controller's reports, excuse me.
I'll second.
Properly moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
No retirements, no vestments, no deaths in the prior month. Payouts, we have 3. Anything under old business?
I have nothing.
You have nothing? Under new business, we'll go back to Rob for a cash requirement. Do we need a transfer for next month?
Yeah, if we just do 250 again, that would be more than enough. So I'll make that in the form of a motion.
I'll second it.
Properly moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anything else to come before the retirement board, gentlemen?
No.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to adjourn the retirement board?
So moved.
Second.
Properly moved in second. All in favor? Aye. We will now move on to the Board of Commissioners regularly scheduled meeting for July 28, 2026. We have already completed the Pledge of Allegiance with Retirement Board. So we will now move along. Need a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting held July 14th.
I'll move that we approve the minutes of the July 14th meeting.
I'll second that. Properly moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Now,
for the approval of the bills, we will go back to Controller Edwards.
okay, the general fund, $6,670,000. Excuse me, $670,364.50. Hazmat, $1,095.75. 911, $44,249.65. Records improvements, $582.99. Domestic relations, $6,389.58. And children and youth, $489,646.06. For a total of $7,212,328.53.
Do I have a motion to approve the bills as presented?
I will move that we approve the bills as presented by Mr. Edwards.
I will second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I will note that Commissioner Glass is not with us today as he had another commitment in Du Bois.
Thanks, Don.
He will rejoin us. And also note, there will not be a monthly work session meeting in August. We will have our 2 regular voting meetings in August. Both Commissioner Glass and I will be at County Commissioners Conference for the work session date. Now, move on to personnel issues. Listed personnel changes for the Commissioner's approval. We have a new hire as District Justice Secretary under Magistrate Morris, effective 8/3/2026. No transfers. Separations and retirements. We have a separation under Telecommunicator 911, effective 7/9/2026. We have a retirement, the telecommunicator to 911 Center, effective 7/22/2026. And we have a separation as Intake Secretary 2 under domestic relations effective 9/12/2026. FMLA leave of absence request, we have one request for an excused unpaid medical leave of absence from 7/13/2026 to 8/14/2026. Do I have a motion to accept these personnel changes?
I move that we approve the personnel changes as stated.
I will second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Personnel changes stand approved. We will now move on to public comment. We will offer a 3 minutes of public comment, approximately a 20-minute session. We usually add one at the end of that, with preference given to Clearfield County residents. We ask that everyone please identify yourselves before beginning your public comment.
My name is Sherilyn Sheets. I'm a minister here in Clearfield. A few weeks ago, I joined with other ministers from Philly for a vigil outside of Moshannon. This is a letter from them. Dear Commissioners Glass, Sobel, and Winters, we write to you with respect for your service to the people of Clearfield County and with appreciation for the difficult decisions entrusted to your office. As leaders, you are called to balance economic considerations with the long-term well-being and values of the communities you represent. Recently, Live Free Philly Coalition, our interfaith organization that works toward social justice, held a vigil called Love Thy Neighbor at Moshannon. It is in this spirit that we ask you not to renew the contract that permits the operation of the Moshannon Valley Processing Center under Geo Group. Every community is ultimately defined by the choices it makes. We believe this decision presents an opportunity to demonstrate that Clearfield County values human dignity, accountability, transparency, and responsible stewardship of public resources. Reports regarding conditions at the Moshannon Valley Processing Center have raised serious concerns among faith leaders, advocates, and members of the public. Allegations of inadequate medical care, prolonged detention, excessive use of solitary confinement, family separation, and multiple deaths in custody have drawn national attention. While perspectives may differ on immigration policy, we believe there is broad agreement that every individual deserves humane treatment, due process, and respect for their inherent dignity. Many individuals housed at Moshannon are civil immigration detainees rather than persons serving criminal sentences. Their detention often places extraordinary emotional and financial burdens on families while distancing loved ones from legal counsel and support networks. These realities compel us to ask whether continued investment in private detention reflects the values we seek to uphold. We also recognize the economic considerations surrounding this contract. However, we respectfully encourage the county to consider whether long-term prosperity is best supported through dependence on private detention or through investments that strengthen local communities, expand economic opportunity, create sustainable employment, and enhance public well-being. Public resources should reflect priorities that build stronger families, healthier communities, and lasting economic resilience. As people of faith and conscience, we believe that compassion and accountability are not competing principles, they are complementary ones. Communities are strongest when public institutions reflect integrity, transparency, and a commitment to the dignity of every person. For this reason, we respectfully ask that you decline to renew the contract with the Geo Group for operation at the Moshannon Valley Processing Center, explore opportunities to repurpose the facility in ways that create lasting economic benefit while serving the broader public interest, and demonstrate leadership that chooses policies that reflect justice, accountability, and respect for human dignity. We recognize the complexity of this issue and appreciate your willingness to consider perspectives from residents, faith communities, and organizations committed to the common good. Regardless of differing viewpoints, we hope this decision will be guided by compassion, responsible governance, and a vision for a stronger future for Clearfield County. Thank you for your time, your leadership, and your thoughtful consideration of this important matter. Respectfully, the co-directors and co-chairs of Live Free Philly.
Thank you.
No.
You can also.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other Clearfield County? I guess I know. I'm the edge of Clearfield County, so I'm on the line. But I'm William Festmeyer. I'm from Phillipsburg. I guess my comments are pretty simple today. I guess my comments are that I think we do a lot of like whinging about the exact numbers of people, the exact, is there 2,000 people? Is there 1,900 people? Are all these people, documented? Are they perfectly documented 100% of the time? Are their visas perfect? Right? Rather than really getting to the core of the issue, is this right or wrong? Right? Is this whole system right or wrong? Right? We do a lot of the like jumping over through hoops. You make a lot of like I see a lot of comments of people arguing pure numbers rather than arguing what's really happening is wrong at its core being. I think the frustration I have with the detention system in general as an American is I think it comes at our core values of what we are as a nation. That we are a nation of migrants meant as a place for people to come to seek refuge. I see like detention in state college especially increasing. ICE has picked up at least 5-6 people at the state college, just randomly. I don't know anything about this woman, but they grabbed a woman on her way to the mall. Probably a nail salon, one of the Asian ladies who works at a nail salon. Like, I don't know anything about her. I haven't been able to find anything about her. She just disappeared into the system, right? And these are like desperate people just trying to make a living. And I think that's the big crux of why these people come here every week. Because it is so wrong. Regardless of whether it makes Clearfield County money, regardless of whether it creates jobs, it's evil. I think one of the things I accidentally kind of said this to a friend recently, but I think people come in and strip mine these areas. They've stripped the timber, they've stripped the coal, they've run out of things that they can suck from these communities, except the people. And so what they do is they create this system that grabs poor people desperately trying to make a living, shoves them into prison, then hires other poor people in this area, people who are looking just to make a living, right? And then they use them to beat these other poor people down, right? And all the while, someone in Geo is making millions, right? Someone in Geo is strip mining this community. They maybe give us a little bit back, a little bit of money, they bribe us a little bit so we can keep this system operating. But really, it just ends up screwing everybody. And we're really not profiting at the end of the day. I think we're paying for it. And we'll pay for it in the way it affects our communities. The way these guards have to go in and struggle.
Thank you for your comments.
I'm Dawn Shields. I am outside Clearfield County. I'm in Jefferson County. We knew nothing about that. That's what the many Germans claimed after World War II. We've made sure that you can't say that. At least 237 people have died in ICE detention, 33 in 2025, and so far 23 in this year alone. A couple weeks ago, I drove past the gravel lot with my son, and I pointed it out to him. I said, "Look at that," because that gravel lot's going to be in our history books. I want my face associated with that gravel lot. I want the record to show that I spoke for those who could not. And what about you, Mr. Sobel? I've read that you're a Christian, and yet recently I read on the computer, online, it said, quote, "You signaled your support for renewal. You said there were no human rights violations at that facility." I guess in today's information age, we don't even have to wait for the history books. I too am a Christian, but I can look back in history and see so many times that we've stood on the wrong side of history. Those of us that are here have been accused of being self-serving paid protesters, and I can tell you there's not one person that's paid. In fact, many people pay from their own pockets for signs, for communications for the detainees, to get them food from the vending machines, travel expenses that we have to visit, to protest. We provide clothing for the visitors to make sure that they don't travel hundreds of miles and get here and then they're not allowed in because they've got an underwire in their bra. These people here right now are doing what they're doing because they're compassionate human beings. 2 weeks ago, I was on the gravel lot protesting and a car came up to the intersection and a beautiful coffee brown faced teenage boy rolled down his window and with tears streaming down his face said, "Thank you, God bless you." And can I also say that a whole lot of conversation around closing Moshannon has focused on the turmoil into which it will throw Phillipsburg's economy. And true as that may be, it's simply disgusting to locate the value of immigrants, not as human beings, but as a source of income. Does that not just display the ugliest part of humanity? You have a decision to make, and I urge you to wrestle with this. It's a decision to be a participant in the inhumanity or to stand up for what's right. Decisions like this are rarely easy, but this one decision will impact not only your legacy, but potentially thousands of lives.
Thank you for your comment.
I have a statement here from,
Could you identify yourself, please?
so the statement is from a woman named
Could you
Constance
identify
Lindsay.
yourself, please?
Sure, Tim. Bobby Erickson. Good morning, Commissioners Tim Winters, John Sobel, and Dave Glass. My name is Constance Lindsay, and I'm asking you a very simple question. Why am I being detained here in your county? I came to the United States legally as a lawful permanent resident with a valid green card. I have no criminal record in the United States. The circumstances that led to my detention happened in St. Martin, where I was arrested for possessing hemp. I did not understand the difference at the time, and I called it marijuana. Hemp was illegal there, and I accepted responsibility and served my sentence. I did my time. Why am I still being punished? I was told America is the land of liberty and justice. What happened there was not a violation of U.S. law, yet I remained detained months later. I came to this country because my mother is a U.S. citizen and she depends on me. Before I was detained, I was her primary caregiver. She is living with kidney failure and lupus and must undergo dialysis 3 times a week. Because I was taken away, she has had to enter a nursing home. She needs me and I need to be with her. I always follow rules. I showed up at my check-ins just like I was supposed to. I just want to care for the woman who raised me and my siblings as a single mother. It is my duty as her daughter. My detention has affected every part of my family's life. I've been unable to hold my grandchildren, speak with them, or be present in their lives. My partner is suffering from my absence. He's placed my things on my side of the bed to sleep with. He's carrying the burdens that we once shared together. Every day I remain here is another day my family pays the price. I have been detained since November, while my mother's health continues to decline. Every day I wake up fearing that I will receive the worst possible news before I ever have the chance to see her again. I know you did not personally decide to detain me, but your decision to continue partnering with ICE and GEO makes detention like mine possible. I ask you to think about the human consequences of that decision. Behind every person detained here is a family, waiting, worrying, grieving, and wondering. Please remember that your decisions affect real people, not contracts, not numbers, but mothers, daughters, partners, grandparents, and families whose lives are forever changed. I respectfully ask for you to consider the cost of this detention and the role your county plays in allowing it continue. I will always remember Clearfield County for this reason. Thank you for your time and for listening.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Nancy Jackson. I'm from Murraysville in Westmoreland County. I'm here with my church friends today, First United Methodist Church in Pittsburgh. I'd like to say that any felon in a federal prison in America, incarcerated for the most heinous crimes against humanity, are granted a more protected and dignified existence than the detainees in Moshannon, the majority of whom are guilty of nothing more than misdemeanors. The human rights violations perpetuated at Moshannon are out of sync with any ethical practice of punishment. While determining your vote for the renewal of the lease at Moshannon, respectfully, I ask you to consider how far you personally are willing to step away from your personal, moral, and ethical boundaries in the treatment of your fellow human beings. Also, if it were me, I would ask myself, what will my children and grandchildren say about what I had to do with the downfall of democracy in America? The encroaching fascist ideology that is overtaking our government. What would my progeny discuss when this is all over and done with? I would like to be on the right side of history that stood up for humanity. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Hi, and I have Constance, who you just heard about from Bobby
Could
on
you,
the
could
phone.
you identify yourself?
I'm Haley McLaughlin. I'm from Clarendon County. And Constance, you can speak.
Hi, good morning. I have a question for Mr. Tim Winter and John Sobo. I currently been detained at the Shannon Valley Processing Center. I've been here since November. I'm a green card holder, permanent resident, and I don't have a criminal record or anything. I've never been arrested in America. I've never had a criminal record in America. My fingerprints and everything is clean in America. However, I was detained in St. Martin for hemp, which has nothing to do with America. St. Martin is not attached, doesn't have a ties to America. And on my way back, I didn't understand the whole difference, so I say marijuana. Now they detain me here from November, saying that I'm a listed alien, which I've never come in this country illegally. My mother is an American citizen, and my mother filed for me from Jamaica to come here. Currently, my mom is sick. Because of my detention, she's currently holding in a nursing home, which is she's not getting proper care. She's suffering from 2 kidney failures, lupus cancer, and she definitely needs my care. So I don't know what you guys can do to help me, because this is unlawful for them to be holding me here. And it's crazy. The food here is not good. It's a whole bunch of things that's happening here at the Shannon that they sweep under the rug. But I just want to ask questions. Just want to find out, how can I get some help to get out of here to go take care of my mom, because there's nobody here to take care of her. I was her sole caretaker. And it's hard. She's suffering. She's an American citizen for years. She's been working. I came here and I work. I pay my tax. I pay my dues. I don't understand what's happening. My family is suffering. My loved one is suffering. My grandkids. I just need help. Just asking for some help to get home to my mother to go take care of her. Her birthday is coming up on Friday, and she's been there since November. Here hasn't been washed or anything like that. I need to go take care of her, give her a good shower, get proper diapers for her. I don't know if she has diaper rash or anything. I'm just worried. I'm just going crazy out of my mind. I know I don't have much time, but I sent a letter, so you guys can understand more about my situation. Please and thank you.
Thanks, Constance.
Yes.
I'm here.
We have time for one more. We have reached our 20 minutes, but we always allow one more afterwards. We have time for one more public comment.
My name is Catherine Max. I am a resident of Allegheny County. I'm here with some friends from the First United Methodist Church of Pittsburgh. I ask you to stand on the right side of history. What is happening in our country is a violation of our laws and our values. Thousands of lives have been detained, many lost, and millions of lives are being affected because of what's happened to their loved ones, and the complete and utter destruction of our faith in our courts, in our laws, in our systems, when you have a mandate for white supremacy being carried out across across the land. We cannot allow this to happen. We cannot allow this to happen. We do not want our neighbors to be employed by black box concentration camps where you don't even have the right, being on the contract with Mo Shannon, with the Geo Group and the Department of Homeland Security, you don't have the right to enter and see what's going on. How can that be right? How can that be just? How can that live up to the promise of this country, of my relatives, of your relatives, of our ancestors? You have a chance right now, you three men, to make a decision that will echo through your generations and through our land to close this largest of the ICE detention centers in our Northeast. This is not right. I urge you to please wrestle within yourselves. We do not want to be making profits out of systems that crush our neighbors, our friends, our families. Let us use our community to build, not break people. Thank you.
Thank you. We will move on to agenda items. Anything in old business, John? to
No,
come?
I don't have anything.
Moving on to new business. Consider approval and certification of the fiscal year 26-27 Clearfield County Human Services Plan, and Lisa Kovalik is with us. I believe she's going to speak to this matter.
Yeah, we have spent some time in putting the Clearfield County Human Services Plan together, along with Community Connections of Clearfield Jefferson County, the Drug and Alcohol Commission, and the League on Social Services here in Clearfield County. Mental health services has seen a slight decrease in funding, which is a shame. Their 26-27 proposed expenditures include assistance of 2,378 individuals in the amount of $3.5 million in federal, state, and county funding. Those services can include community services, employment of residential, emergency, community-driven services, family-based services, mental health support, mental health crisis intervention, outpatient, peer-to-peer support, psychiatric inpatient support, and inpatient rehabilitation, social rehabilitation, targeting case management, and transition to community integration. Our intellectual disabilities amount has gone up slightly, and we've decreased those that we serve. We propose to serve this year 58 individuals with case management, community-based and residential services in the amount of $2.1 million in federal, state, and county funding. Under substance use disorders, the Clearfield County Jefferson Drug and Alcohol Commission has seen a decrease this year. 276,787 will go into serving 247 individuals. Those services would be inpatient and non-hospital and medication-assisted therapy, as well as case management. Under the homeless assistance services, over the last 5 years, it's been known that we've been assisting the homeless shelters. With Haven House closing, we're going to continue to serve the Good Samaritan Men's Shelter in the amount of $8,000 so that they can keep their doors open for our one and only homeless shelter. They have increased our RAP money, which is our rental assistance funding. Community Action will receive $56,400 to put out for rental assistance, and that would be for eviction, assisting with evictions, assisting with foreclosures. And this year, our redevelopment organization will introduce a pilot housing case management component with just $2,000 in order to assist individuals in need of housing case management. And last, the Human Service Development Fund will serve 3 different areas. The victims of domestic violence have a safe haven through the League on Social Services. They will receive $26,900. They are way, way, way beyond that. Our new judge, Judge Maines, keeps sending more and more people to the League on Social Services. I have been watching to see if there are any federal fundings available. I know at one time, the commissioners supported a federal application that I did for them to assist additional people, so I'm watching for that, and of course, we'll rewrite that for them if the time comes. In addition to that, we'll have 35 victims, served with that $26,900 out of the Human Services Fund. The drug and alcohol will get 25,000 out of our HSDF funding, or Human Service Development funding, for case management services in the county jail. And of course, Community Connections Jefferson County will get 21, Clearfield and Jefferson County will get $21,180. So that's the lineup. Again, this year, we're basically seeing flat funding or a decrease in funding. We're nowhere near what we used to be at one time. I will assure you, I need you to sign the assurance of compliance. We have had all of the necessary meetings. We had a public meeting last Friday, and we did have 2 in attendance at that meeting. It went rather well. So the plan is put together and ready to go. Just need your approval and assurance of compliance.
Thank you, Lisa.
Yeah, Lisa, thank you. We know that's a tough job trying to, it's a lot of need and not a whole lot of money. to spend.
And with
So,
the state funding has been flat or
Yeah.
lessened the last couple cycles, I know this is a constant struggle. John, do I have a motion to approve the certification of the fiscal year 26-27 Clearfield County Human Services Plan?
Yes, I move to do the same.
I will second. All in favor?
Aye.
I'm gonna leave the assurance for you along with the full budget showing you where everything is going.
Okay, we'll have that
Thank you.
signed and back to you
Take that.
shortly. Thank you. Next, moving on to agenda item number 2, consider supplemental agreement number 4 to the Department of the Army lease number DACW 31-1-92-094. Get
Or-
that right?
A little bit more easily said, this is the lease that involves the Kerwinsville Lake. We had leased with the Army originally back in 1992. Over the course of our lease agreement, which has been extended through 2030 at this point, there have been various supplements due to different changes that have come in. This proposed addendum and agreement, it addresses there's prior prohibited uses that just with the changes addresses gambling, allowing for certain small games of chances, things like that, raffles that are becoming a little more common, as well as some restrictions remain in place, but the ability of some alcohol to be served at celebration events with prior approval of the Army lease there. So those are the 2 main points as far as the supplemental agreement number 4.
And to be clear, this is at least with the Army Corps of Engineers, as Kerwinsville Dam, or Kerwinsville Lake as we call it, is primarily a flood control structure.
Correct.
I'm not gonna read all those numbers again, John. Do you make a motion to approve the supplemental agreement number 4?
I so move.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Next, agenda item number 3, consider addendum to the purchase of service agreement with Pence Run Youth Services, which we just recently.
Yes, so
I
we
will-
renewed for the current fiscal year. However, this is an amendment that's going to go to our prior fiscal year agreement. Late in May, there was a new program that was introduced by Pence Run called Transitional Living. They were approved by the state at a contract rate of $189.79 per day. Because that new was available, we have to update our prior contract for anything that we're submitting under that. So this is just an addendum to recognize that new program under our prior fiscal year agreement with Pence Run.
Okay, do I have a motion to do the addendum to the purchase of service agreement with Pence Run Services?
Yes, I do. One question, if you know, Heather, is this, I'm assuming this is for maybe an older teenager that's needs to transition in adulthood.
So,
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I'm,
I was gonna say Pence Run normally around 15 or 16, depending if they'll do programs for their transitional living, just to teach basic skills, for when they turn 18, if they would decide to sign themselves out of place.
yeah,
then.
no, I'll be happy to make that motion. I know there's a real need for that. We have kids that are coming out of care, becoming young adults. There's a gap there and you need to be able to address that. So, yes,
And
I'll make
Pence-
that motion.
Okay, I will second that. All in favor?
Aye.
And noting that Pence Run is one of several facilities we use. They all have their niche
Yeah.
in varying different places, and we do appreciate the services they offer. Next, moving on to item 4, consider professional consultant agreement with Computer Aid, Inc.
for the last several years, we've done an agreement with Computer Aid, but this is for our fiscal technician assistance, I will call her, Claudia, who we had done previously when she was independent. This is to provide support and assistance to our fiscal department and CYS. The agreement for this year is that services would be provided by any of the consultants not to exceed 250 hours. And that puts a maximum payment to them for $24,750. It's for the upcoming fiscal year. There is a 90-day termination. Like I said, we've used them now for several years. It's helped make sure that all of our reporting has been more in compliance. I think you've seen everything kind of going a little bit smoother as far as the contracts and the reporting of the CYS fiscal side of everything. So they've been a big benefit.
Okay, John, do I have a motion to enter in the professional consultant agreement with Computer Aid, Inc.?
So moved.
Properly moved and second, all in favor? Aye. And our final agenda item under new business, a purchase of service agreement with Community County Services, Inc. Once again, back to
So
Solicitor Bozovich.
This is our standard agreement. Community County Services, they have three of the biggest programs CYS uses. It's the truancy referral, family preservation, and family redevelopment. So the majority of cases that CYS is involved in, at least one of those programs from Community County Services is utilized. But it's just our standard agreement with them with updated costs to reflect their programs.
Okay, do I have a motion to enter into the purchase of service agreement with Community County Services, Inc.?
So moved.
Second, properly moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
That concludes our agenda items. I will keep my remarks to a couple minutes here. We want to address some misconceptions that have been brought up earlier this morning in public comment. First off, Clearfield County holds no lease of any type with the GEO facility, nor do we have the ability to close the facility. The IGSA agreement is just that, it is agreement. It is not management or lease. Repeatedly been referred to as a detention center or concentration camp. Once again, completely false. It is a short-term processing center. In the first half of this year, there were 6,798 arrivals and 6,820 departures. That is from 1/1 to 6/30. As of yesterday, population was 1,644. That 49 of that being female, 420 full-time employees. All the comments this morning addressed federal immigration policy. While I understand you have concerns with that, as do I, those concerns are best addressed to a congressman or a senator, as we have no say over federal immigration policy here. As a note to that, in the month of June, there were 1,364 ICE conducted immigration court hearings within that 30-day span. Immigration court operates daily from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. and weekends as needed. A historical mention was made repeatedly. Perhaps we should look at the reason why we are dealing with this, and that would be the previous administration's admission of millions of illegals into the country has put us in this.
Information, bro.
Excuse me, did I interrupt you? Anyhow, those facts are available and available to the press. All current numbers as of yesterday. Do we have anything from the solicitor?
I do not have anything this morning.
I have a comment.
Comment period is over.
I want to say it anyhow.
Do you have anything else to add, John?
Nope.
Do I
I
have a
want to address the fact
Excuse me, ma'am.
of your population count. How many of those were transferred to another geo center?
And then brought back, actually.
Public
Like
comment
short-term
is
process.
over.
Well, then we need to extend
How
it.
many have been
I
there for
will move
years?
to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn,
Yep.
second, all in favor?